3 years. He will not be let out on bail during the appellate process, which means effectively he will be leaving the court today and going straight to prison.
Hey guys, before we get started, I'm just going to go ahead and ask that you hit that like button, which would be the thumbs up, and also, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Yesterday, I did get a fair amount of you guys hitting the like button, so I noticed that actually did help. Now, on to our video.
Of note as well, his wife, Camille, who has at times appeared during this trial at his side, has not been with him during this sentencing hearing, clearly knowing that there was a possibility he would be going straight to prison.
So you say, was there another option, a county jail, or do we know for a fact it'll be prison?
Well, the defense was asking for house arrest. That was actually what they were asking for. The judge clearly deciding that he was not going to do that in this case. And there's precedent that back when he committed the crime in 2004, it would not be an option for someone guilty of this kind of crime to be put under house arrest. That law was later changed. But no, Bill Cosby going to state prison.
What's up, guys? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. They undid it. They gave Bill Cosby a life sentence. He's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And some of you think I'm joking, but you know, Bill Cosby is 81 years old. He's already blind, he's deaf, and he's dumb. Everything about him is completely out of whack and fucked up. So he is not going to last more than 3 to 10 years. He probably ain't even going to last a year and a half, you ask me. He's on his way out. He's got one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel, and we all know how that goes. It only takes so long before you actually slip. Then there's people that say evil lives forever, so, you know, he might continue to just hang on. And I'm not the person that's going to say that I don't think Bill Cosby needed to be in prison. I think Bill Cosby does need to be in prison, but, you know, sentencing him to more than that time is just trying to make his soul stay in prison after he's dead, because we all know he ain't gonna last much longer than that. And I do agree that he did terrible, terrible things. So he's been convicted, I guess, on a special where he's considered a sexually violent predator. And so he doesn't have control over his compulsions, is the way they see it. You know, he's not going to be able to be the kind of person that's going to really be able to be rehabilitated. He's always going to have the tendency to have sex with people without their consent, and that's what they've decided by his behavior, which with the number of victims that there were, you could definitely see how that would be a concern for them.
In preceding this sentence, the judge declared that he was a violent sexual predator. What does that mean in practical terms if he's going to prison? Does that really fall in line once he would be released?
It is, and it's an important designation, this sexually violent predator designation. It then means that he has to register in the sex offender registry. That is a lifetime registration. As a sexually violent predator, he has to check in with state police quarterly. He has to show up at a police station, take photos, and confirm that he lives where he lives. He has to get counseling. If he moves residences, he has to alert the police, whether that's here in Pennsylvania or to another state. He also has to tell the community around him as a way of warning. It is, in effect, as you know, Megan's Law, it is about community safety.
And I don't feel like they at all went extra hard on Bill Cosby. Technically, I think they went kind of easy on him throughout this whole trial and the way he's been treated. And I watched the 2020. Thankfully, my friend Renee sent it to me back when it was the big story, and it was a mixed bag. And that's something that I think a lot of people that are on more like, because I don't know that there's anybody on well, that's not true. There are people that are on Bill Cosby's side. There are still some people that think that he got railroaded and that it was just people hating on him and racism and all sorts of stuff like that. I really don't. In the case of Bill Cosby, I know those things do happen, but in the case of Bill Cosby, like if you watch the 2020 special, one thing where it gets kind of muddled is that there was a mixed bag. There were some of the alleged victims where you felt like, yeah, this was a story of bad judgment, not victim blaming, but it was a story of bad judgment in the way that I don't really get it because there was one in particular that they talked to, and maybe this is just one of the strange ways that a victim's mind works sometimes, but I don't really get it when a person has been drugged and raped by somebody and then ends up going to Las Vegas with that same person again. It's like, well, they already drugged you and raped you once, and now you're gonna go on a road trip with them, or which I say road trip, but they, I'm sure, flew. Bill Cosby wasn't gonna jump in the car with anybody. So when it comes to that, it gets like, yeah, there was probably a little bit of everything. There were probably some people that thought they were gonna hustle Bill Cosby. There were probably some people that were legit just victims. There was one girl I felt so terrible for because she was a young girl, and I feel almost like her aunt, I believe it was, that had hooked her up with Bill Cosby, and I feel almost like that person set her up and thought that that was going to be her ticket, like, make this girl go hook up with Bill Cosby, and the girl, it wasn't a part of the decision making at all. The girl just thought that she was going to get helped out by Bill Cosby. That one really did tear me up. And I do mean that because that one I felt sad about. And I'm gonna address that really quick. I gotta go do some stuff today, but I am a little bit down right now. Nothing to worry about. I wouldn't call it a full-on depression, but I'm just a little bit down in the dumps. I had, or I say I have, even though it's I have a sister that ended up dying Halloween, and it was right on Halloween night several years back. And so this time of year always gets a little bit hard for me, and I only put it together because I was on the phone with one of my best friends today. I already mentioned her, Renee, and I always forget and don't put it together. It happens every year that I forget. All of a sudden, I just start getting down and I don't feel like doing as much stuff. And then it'll be like, oh, and this time it was Renee who reminded me. But it's the Halloween costumes, like seeing all the Halloween decorations and the costumes and stuff like that. It just triggers the memory, and then I get a little bit down. And so I'm going through that right now, and I have faith that I'll pull through it like I always do. But just right now, that is a little bit of concern for me as far as needing to take care of myself and needing to make sure that I force myself to be out in the world and don't shut myself in, don't isolate, don't do anything like that, which I am good at not isolating, but it doesn't mean it's easy for me to get out some days. And so that's where I'm at on that. Let me know where you guys land on the Bill Cosby situation, how you feel about that. Again, hate to be a bother, but give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, everything you guys can do to let the world know that you are here and you are watching. And when I say the world, I mean YouTube. I appreciate you guys. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Mwah.